How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here from Triple J Comics. We're back with another top 5. Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey,
Good.
Ben, are you awake? Are you?
Dozed off for a second there. Sorry, I've been spending too much time with you fogies. Start sleeping without notice.
Naps, grandad naps. How is everybody doing? You all well?
Doing good.
Very good. Glad to be back for another top
Excellent.
5.
Yep.
So this is the latest in with top 5s. We're going to be talking about costumes. So we started off talking initially about doing just top 5 costumes, but it's kind of developed into characters really, and their gradual costumes, which we'll go through in a bit. I'd just encourage anybody who's watching to like and subscribe to the video, and also check out Efrain over at Pass Point One Comics, and also Ben, the attention-seeking geek. Both got some cracking content, and we obviously do this regular top 5, so go back and check some of those out. Right, guys, before we get into it, we'll do it opposite way around this time. So just tell the people what you've got coming up on your channel. So Efrain, do you want to start off?
Gosh. I don't have much going on. I'm just doing videos with you guys. I'm doing another video with Peter after this. So.
Yeah.
Just playing it by ear. I did my first, how do you call it, YouTube short?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never tried it before, and you get like 15 seconds or a minute, and I did them back to back. And my first one I did like all my comic book statues. I got like over 1,000 hits. People viewed it.
Wow.
But my second one I did right after that, I only got like 5 views. So I was like, okay, spread them out next time. So.
Yeah. But you've just done a lot of little short videos as well from your trip to the Comic-Con, haven't you? Of you interviewing people as you were walking around and things.
Yeah, I did that on my channel. I did there were about 5-minute interviews. Those were fun. Trying to get people I had never done that before, so I was a little bit, nervous. But, after I told myself to calm down and have fun, I had fun with it. So,
yeah, tremendous.
Great job.
And Ben, first of all, I think since the last time we've done one of these videos, you've hit 500. So massive congratulations on that. Well deserved. I'm very pleased for you, mate. So what have you got happening on your channel?
Took bloody long enough, didn't it? No, I am doing my weekly live Moon Knight episode reviews, which I know Peter pops up on from time to time. We need to get you on, Efrain, to one of those. To come chat Moon Knight.
Let me know when, because I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. BST. That's when, Efrain.
Okay.
Noted. But yes, we also kind of did an impromptu live the other day to discuss the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, and then just the usual kind of toy review, figure reviews and silliness on my channel as always.
Yep.
Tremendous. And you're taking part now, Ben, in a big 1/6 thing on Sundays, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, they might not have asked me back by the time this video goes out, but we'll see.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, that's over on the 1/6 Scale Man channel. Really kind of cool to get to spend a bit of time with the 1/6 Scale community. There's a lot of similarities between like comic book people and 1/6 Scale people. We moan about the same things. We love the same things. So it's been nice to be a part of that.
Tremendous. Just before we move on then, Efrain, have you seen the Thor trailer?
Yes, I have.
What did you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I just can't wait. I mean, it's amazing how most of the Marvel movies are so serious, but Thor, like after the first or second one, it took like a turn to more comedic nature.
Yeah.
If you noticed that. And at the end of the trailer, when Jane Foster, I thought that was a different actress.
Yeah.
But she was so, yes, exactly.
Guns.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, that's
Hell
really her? I was like, whoa.
I mean, that's interesting you should say that, Efrain, because I can't remember if it was you, Ben, or Luke, who mentioned when we were talking about it, saying that would people realize that was Natalie Portman from the first few movies? If you weren't familiar with the storyline, like we are, so we know that it's Jane Foster, would you realize that was her? So it's interesting, really.
Yeah.
Right, chaps, let's crack straight on. So we're talking today about super. What are you laughing at?
The dogs.
I mean, that's me and you, Ben. That's what I thought.
It really is uncanny.
So we're talking about superhero costumes, and like I say, we initially had the idea of talking about costumes as one-off iconic costumes, and it's kind of developed, really, I think, into characters who've had very good or interesting costumes throughout the span of their history. So we'll just do the usual format, guys. I'll put one of your slides up on screen, and if you guys just chat about why you've picked this particular character and which of the costumes are your favorites. And I think, Efrain, you're up first. Nice.
Great choice.
So my first choice is Kitty Pryde. Basically, we were introduced to her as a teenager. And the first one is on the left-hand side. You can hardly see her, but I mean, that's her first, like almost like the original X-Men uniform.
Yeah.
And just progressed as her maturity progressed. You could see how her change in costumes, progressed also. The one on the left-hand side is like from Ultimate X-Men, I believe.
And, the leather-clad one.
The leather-clad one, I believe. No, it's not from Ultimate X-Men. I think it's from Extreme X-Men.
And they went through a very, I mean, Ben, you're expert on X-Men, but I'm sure Extreme X-Men went through a very strange phase where they had, was it like Stacy X, who was sexual hormones and things, and it seemed to try and get quite adult in theme, and they dressed Kitty in this kind of leather garment.
Yeah,
I think everyone went through that phase in the early 90s. I know you two did.
You two did. Definitely.
I mean, she was even Star-Lord for a little while. When Peter Quill was left, went to hang out with his dad, she became Star-Lord for a little while, and I always liked her and her dragon. Her pet dragon. I wish they would Lockheed. I wish they would have Lockheed more, in the comic books. I really like his persona, Lockheed. And that's why I picked Kitty Pryde. I wish she has progressed throughout the years, like I said, from teenager to adulthood.
And is that a current costume, the kind of the pirate outfit costume?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Marauders.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got tattoos on her knuckles and everything.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love this look. I love when she was first on the scene as Sprite, and we got full kind of like roller. She had like roller blades on or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like silver tights and things, didn't she?
Yeah.
She looked quite garish. But also, I think we've mentioned Kitty Pryde before. She's a phenomenal character, actually, in her own right, isn't she? And she's progressed incredibly well over the years. Is she still in a relationship with Colossus, or has that kind of all ended now?
No, that ended a while back. Yeah. Don't bring it up, Peter, because I'm still quite sore about it.
Ben, you may know the answer to this, but she still can't go on the island Krakoa, right? They won't let her go on the island. That I know of.
I'm about 3 weeks behind.
Okay.
But as far as I know, it's still and that's the whole point of the Marauders, is they serve Krakoa around, the rest of the world kind of thing.
So why is that? So, because I thought Krakoa was for all mutants. Yeah. So why can't she go on it?
I don't know. They haven't said why.
There's a personal thing, and I'm not really sure. They haven't necessarily dived into it massively yet. So they haven't explained a lot of things in the current X-Men books. Yeah.
And I've never forgiven you, Mr. Crampton, for making me read X of Swords, I have to say.
Well,
utter tripe.
Don't even.
Have you read that one, Efrain?
X of Swords?
Oh, it's so... Do you know what it is?
I did.
I've been reading the X books kind of in volumes, and that story starts off so strong with like a real dark kind of chapter at the start, and then just turns to utter rubbish.
Yeah, I don't even remember what happened at the end of X of Swords.
Yeah, the dance-offs.
Oh, Lord, it's dreadful. But then it ends on a real kind of quite good stuff. It feels like it's had two bookends of a decent dramatic story, and then the rest in the middle is just utter tripe. There you are. My views on X of Swords. Ben, you're up.
Yes. So this here is Beast, and he's gone through quite an evolution when it comes to his look. That's for sure. So this kind of first appearance, he pretty much was in human form. He just had kind of larger hands and feet. But I don't even necessarily know if that was a result of his mutation as such. He was actually called Beast on the football field as like a nickname. Just because of his style and the way that he played American football and things. But yeah, so in Amazing Adventures 11, he basically kind of had this extract of mutant kind of, liquid that he created to kind of, whilst he was investigating someone who was trying to create it themselves, I think. And he used it on himself, and it didn't come off. It didn't wear off. Fortunately, it stuck. So he kind of first appeared in this like grey, hairy form, and the blue was kind of set in motion back in Amazing Adventures 14. There was a storyline and he got like a blue tint to him, but they didn't necessarily address it. So I don't know whether that was just like a creative choice. Oh, sorry, my alarm's going off for eBay. Wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. So Englehart and Sutton kind of gave him that blue tint, but it wasn't necessarily addressed. And then when he came over to Avengers in 137, he had that same blue tint, so it was like something that they carried over because it was the same artist who came over as well. And then in Avengers 153, I think it was, that was when they kind of spoke out loud the fact that he is now blue. And that was like a permanent kind of thing. But yeah, we then got like a cat beast in the Grant Morrison new X-Men stuff. And I think that cat beast was probably made iconic in the Astonishing X-Men run, just because the art was just so beautiful in that. And then kind of in more recent years, like post Avengers versus X-Men, Wolverine versus X-Men kind of time, we got like a gorilla type beast, where his hair was almost kind of, bald on top, and
he had pointy ears as well, didn't he?
His ears kind of gone a little bit more pointy and stuff like that. And to be honest, I think the evolution is not finished, because I was speaking to Efrain about this a few weeks back, and how he's really upped the like jerk meter recently in terms of his actions in X-Force and stuff. So I potentially think that we'll get Dark Beast again, or a version of that. But like a 616 version. It was like inevitable that his timeline always means that he kind of goes towards that bad route. So good news is, guys, I just won.
I've been watching.
Just won. But yeah, so just a really fascinating character, and the juxtaposition of like this man who violence is never the answer, as opposed to this kind of big creature kind of from your nightmares sort of thing. I love that.
Tremendous. Absolutely superb pick. So you mentioned, I don't know if we're allowed to, well, is he cancelled? Josh Whedon. Still a tremendous writer in my eyes.
You can't say his name. It's like Candyman now. If you say his name 5 times, he'll appear in his trainers.
But I remember he wrote the Astonishing X-Men, and there's a scene in the X-Mansion where I think Beast has a fight with Wolverine in the corridors of the mansion, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. Beast's kind of bounding along towards him, kind of thing, and Wolverine's jumping over him and stuff, or something like that. It's superb. Efrain, have you got awesome. Sorry?
That whole run was awesome.
It was tremendous.
Loved it.
Efrain, have you got a favorite version of the Beast?
I like the original version of the Beast. When he was a teenager with his big feet and big hands. I think that was his. I mean, I liked his persona. He was smart, but he also seemed to have fun at the same time. But I don't know, like Ben and I were talking, where he's going right now, man. But he's becoming darker and darker.
And that's a shame, isn't it? Because you're right, it was quite fun loving. I think some of my favorite Beast stories are where he's got did they call it the devil version hair? The kind of the pointy hair there? He's teamed up with Wonder Man. And that's just a fun kind of storyline, I guess. Yeah, tremendous
Apparently,
character.
him and Wolverine went to the same stylist in the
Yeah.
in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys didn't leave us with much, I have to say. I was very polite and let you pick your costumes first.
What do you mean? You've got Batman. That's like
Well, I
one
know,
of
but
the
that's what I'm
biggest.
saying. So you have picked some of the ones that I wanted to pick. So I've gone classic. I've gone with good old Bats, and I think there are hundreds of variations of his costume, aren't there? I've put a few of the images up there, as you can see. I just love it. I love the way it's kind of reintroduced every now and then. I still cannot decide what my favorite is, if it's blue and grey or if it's the black. I like the kind of the anti-Superman armor that you've got the view of there. I like the fact that he's got all kinds of different versions of armor in the Batcave. We've had some recent stories in the New 52 where he's had kind of like mech suits and things that he's getting into and all that kind of jazz. I just think it's a classic costume. You always know who it is, but I think it's got some superb kind of variations, which really are just quite often color tweaks. There's not a lot of difference to them. What do you guys think of the Batman costume?
I like it with the blue cape.
Yeah.
And I like it blue. It's like differentiation between blue and gray. I like that color. I like the one, and I like the emblem that's yellow and the bat there too. It just shows it off more to me.
Yeah, and there's that brilliant scene, isn't there, in Dark Knight Returns, where Frank Miller kind of explains why the yellow's there.
Oh.
And it's to kind of, because that's the most protected area of the suit, so it's yellow to draw gunfire.
Didn't know that.
Which makes perfect sense, really, doesn't it? You know, he has that, so people aim for that rather than his face, I guess.
I'm just seeing the artist. If anyone is currently reading Batman, Jorge Molina's new suit is beautiful. Like, I absolutely love it. I think it's kind of a nice throwback to the old kind of style with the yellow symbol, but then it's practical. You know, it feels real. It looks like it's sewn. It's similar to like Ben Affleck's Batsuit in the film. Like, it looks more like a made costume than armor sort of thing. Which is the route they've gone a lot in the films. But yeah, the Frank Miller version for me is probably up there. Not necessarily even the Superman suit. It was more that kind of grizzled, you know, expression under the cowl and stuff. Like, and that was like baby blue and grey, I think. In that as well. So yeah. But
Tremendous.
Iconic.
Yeah. Like I say, unmistakable. You always know who that is, don't you? Okie dokie. So this was going to be one of my picks, but Efrain, you've got Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Dick Grayson. I mean, it's not just Nightwing. It's from Robin. I was, the original that costume when he was Robin. Like just like basically shorts and no leggings, and I was like, that costume was just so. I look at it now and man, I don't know how he wore that. But more going into Nightwing, I really like the way the costume was progressed little by little into what it is now. I just think it's an awesome looking costume, and that's why I picked it.
So I absolutely, this is one of my favorite characters. Saying that, I haven't read any of his recent stuff, but certainly the Chuck Dixon run from a few years back.
Recent stuff's good, apparently.
That's what I'm hearing.
But apparently, it's really good.
I'm going to try and pick up the trade because from what I've heard, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I've been reading it. It's good storyline.
It's good stuff, is it?
Yes.
I love that original, not the original Nightwing costume with the kind of a high collar and stuff. I like this version with the blue running down the arms, the piping down the arms and stuff. I just think it looks phenomenal. I wish they'd kept that one actually.
Yeah, you got to read Nightwing because he got shot and he had amnesia,
right?
And some other groups of like firemen, I think they're all firemen. They took the mantle of Nightwing,
right?
While he was, not Nightwing, and it just goes from there. It's a really good storyline.
Yeah,
I can't look anywhere other than those cheeks. To be quite
honest. I knew you were going to say that, Ben. I knew you were going to say that.
I could see my face in the reflection.
Actually, looks like your head, just two of your head.
I just want to touch it. What? Quickly move on.
I have to say as well, just before we do move on, that cover there, Nightwing, it's tremendous. I love that. I hadn't seen that one before, Efrain, before you sent the image with all the different variations of him. I just love it. It looks brilliant.
That girl's at the top there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superb. Right, Ben. Now you sent 2 images, Ben. I'll just show you. There's this one and this one, but
Yeah.
they are different characters, aren't they?
There's a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
So really, I kind of chose more the monocle of Goliath,
Yeah.
basically, because it is a monocle that many people have kind of had. So originally, of course, it was Ant-Mim, Ant-Pim, and Ant-Man, obviously using the pin particles in a different way to make himself Giant Man, also known as Goliath. And then, of course, we got probably the most famous Goliath, which is Black Goliath, Bill Foster. So Bill Foster was like the lab assistant, I think, to Hank Pym, and kind of got the particles, and the rest is history.
And he was. Sorry, is this the one that was murdered by the Thor clone?
The android Thor,
yeah,
in Civil War. Debatably, one of the most memorable shots of that whole comic. Like, I remember reading that and just like my jaw hit the floor. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Literally, like, puts a hole in him.
Yeah,
amazing stuff.
And is this the one as well, Ben? Sorry to interrupt. Is this, because I seem to remember, going back to me many years reading this, there's that great scene where they bury him, but they have to bury him in like a giant grave because he doesn't shrink down, which is just one of those touches that you think, actually, I would have never even considered.
Civil War, I feel like it feels like a taboo thing to say now because there's been a film and it comes across as cliche, but I still think that Mark Millar book is one of the best like story arcs like that we've ever had. It's absolutely amazing.
That opening, I know we're going slightly off topic here, but I could talk about Civil War now because I love it. That, I know you're not necessarily, are you Captain America man? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Hey. Those initial scenes where he's on the helicarrier and they realize they're going to arrest him, then he jumps out and jumps on the airplane, and what does he say to the guy? No potty mouth or something? I can't remember what it is.
But even that opening scene at near the school with the reality TV gone wrong, genius. Anyway, Clint Barton also used it. I think that's Clint on the far right, actually. These they all look like they can be found in a certain club at a certain time, these costumes, which may be why I was drawn to them. Eric Joston as well is another one. I think that might be Eric.
It is.
Over in the
Atlas.
middle.
Yeah.
Atlas on the far left. Yeah. So Atlas, aka Power Man. He literally, Smuggler, I think he was called at one point. He's like tried loads of names and keeps having fights with people for those names and losing the fight and losing the name as a result. But pathetic. Eric Joston.
He's again a tremendous character from the Thunderbolts, the original Thunderbolts run.
Yeah.
And there's a really good couple of issues. I'm dropping knowledge bombs on you here. You see, there's a really good couple of issues where Hercules comes to kick his ass because he was one of the original guys, one of the original Masters of Evil, who beat Hercules unconscious and gave him brain damage.
Yep.
In the I don't know what the storyline was called, but it was in the Avengers series. Yeah. Excellent run. That original Thunderbolts run is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous.
Yeah. Agreed. And then there's also Tom Foster, who I don't know if that's him or just a different version of Bill in that other shot, but it's the nephew of Bill Foster, who is now he kind of took on the mantle to basically kind of get revenge, and like an anti-hero type character. So he kind of went to the raft, and then there was a breakout at the raft, and instead of joining the villains in that breakout, he actually protected a lot of the guards, so he ended up getting a pardon as a result. So I think he's kind of still out there. He's one of these Marvel characters that if they wanted to bring back into a team or something, I think they're very much well could.
Tremendous. Excellent. Nice characters, nice costumes. So again, I went a bit classic, and I've got 2 slides for this one. This is, Spider-Man and all of these various iterations. There's been literally hundreds of different versions of Spider-Man costumes. I would imagine, one of the most cosplayed characters out there. there's been some fabulous costumes. There's also been some misses, I have to say. But for me, some of them, I mean, this black one here, I just absolutely love that original black costume.
The symbiote.
Yeah, the symbiote costume, yeah. I've picked 3 of my favourites just to show you. The Sinister, sorry, not Sinister, what do you call them?
Superior.
The Superior Spider-Man costume. I just think that's such a clean, creepy looking design. I love it. The Captain Britain version of Spider-Man, who I think is dead now. I think, did he die during the latest
Spider-Geddon?
Spider-Geddon.
Did they kill him at the beginning of that? I think he was one of the ones that was murdered by the family or whatever.
Yeah. So love that costume. I just love the because you can see the Union Jack in there, so I think that's tremendous.
That's cool.
And then this last one is the one from I can't remember the name, Spider-Man Reign, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the old. It's basically the Dark Knight Returns version of Spider-Man, isn't it? Set in the future kind of thing. This is what I kind of wondered if we'd see Tobey Maguire in the last Spider-Man movie, or perhaps we'll see him in a future movie. That kind of older. Not necessarily spandex anymore because they can't pull it off, but the more relaxed, casual costume.
I'd never seen that costume on the right. Is that from like an alternate Spider-Man, correct?
Is it classed as an alternate? It's set in the future.
Oh.
Where basically Spider-Man's retired, and
gotcha.
It's a tremendous run actually, Efrain. It's quite dark and quite creepy. It's called Spider-Man Reign, I think. Have you read that one, Ben?
I think I read it, but I just don't remember that costume.
Yeah. Really good.
So my favourite Spidey on the way in with my favourite Spider-Man costumes, I would probably go for the Ben Reilly hoodie look. I don't know why, I just like that kind of baby blue hoodie. I love Spider-Punk.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about that kind of punk look and aesthetic. So yeah, that's awesome. And what other? I think Superior is probably up there for me as well.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed the first Superior though.
Yes.
Spider-Man. So it was pretty much just Spider-Man. It was just very subtle. Like the nails were longer, and the eyes were slightly different. But I mean, it's just. I think with Spider-Man, more so than Batman, you can kind of really have fun with it, but so often they get it like wrong. It's quite interesting how fans will embrace certain versions and really that recent one, fans really went in on that, didn't they? Because they did not like that. So yeah, it's a funny one.
What about yourself?
There was this one costume when Peter started working for J. Jonah Jameson's, and they had that special costume for him. It was horrendous. I was like, to me, it seemed like a money grab for Marvel. Just people wanted to. It's a brand new costume. It lasted like for about 5 or 4 issues, and then they got rid of it. I'm going, that's terrible. I didn't.
It sells books, I suppose, at the end of the day, and toys, doesn't it?
People wanted it. I'm going, this is terrible, man. I'm not buying this.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Ben. I do like that original Ben Reilly, but I have to say I do like the Miles Morales Spider-Man as well. I think that costume is very good. Okie dokie. So, Efrain, again, one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I thought for sure you were going to tell me, no, I'm picking this one. Because I know Flash is like your main guy. So I picked Flash because it's an iconic outfit. And it hasn't really changed much throughout the years. Mostly his physique has changed throughout the years. Like from the 40s and 50s, except for the 40s and that's that golden age Flash. And I just really I think it's an iconic costume, and I think I like more the artists who draw the costume.
Yeah,
really sticks out. And the last one is by Michael Turner. I know Jim Lee, I believe, has drawn it too. I just like the way it seems to mesh with him going fast, the redness and the streaks and all that, and the lightning bolts. So I think, and I like the way it comes out of his ring all the time. That's a little special part of it. So that's why I picked this costume. I really think it's an iconic costume.
Yeah. Tremendous, superb pick. One of my favorite DC characters. I like the way it comes out of the Flash emblem ring as well. But I have to say, the Mark Waid run, when they turned it into like the Speed Force costume, where it just envelops him, I love that as well. Ben, what are your thoughts on Flash?
No, I don't like the way it comes out of a ring.
See, I was waiting for you to make a comment.
all very Moon Knight, isn't it?
You can edit that part. Just edit
From
that.
out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. No, look, it's like with many DC characters, it's never something that I've embraced, and I'd say especially the Flash, because of my love for Quicksilver. Like, and I know that you can like both, but like I love Quicksilver, and I know he's an asshole, but that's kind of why I love him. And I think because of that, I've always kind of just seen Flash as a, just kind of, I don't know, it's never resonated. And Ezra Miller's now a dick, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
It's just made life really hard for me trying to like the Flash.
Have you read much Flash?
No. I've only really encountered him I've read a couple of Boomerang stories because I love Boomerang, and Justice League stuff. So yeah.
So I fell in love with
recommendations.
I fell in love with the Flash during the Mark Waid run, which is like I think 80s up to 120 or something like that. Terminal velocity and things like that, I think it is. And he's the Wally West version of Flash is tremendous. It's a guy learning how to use his powers and all that kind of stuff. So I love it. I also, if we stick with the costumes, I love the fact that his arch enemy is literally the reverse. I mean, he's called the reverse Flash of that costume. Yeah. All the red bits are yellow and the yellow bits are red. I just think it's genius how they do it, really.
So is he like from the future Reverse Flash, like a future version?
The original one was, yes. Evan Thorne, I think it's called. Yeah, but there's like 6 or 7 different versions now of Reverse Flash or whatever.
But yeah, to catch up on.
Yeah, the original one is from the future.
Real quick, I'll talk about this really quick, but the actor who plays the Flash right now, what is going on with him? He got arrested again in Hawaii. I was like, oh my God, this guy's out. I don't know what they're going to do with the movie now.
Well, I strongly suspect they're going to reshoot the end and he'll disappear.
Yeah,
I think they might.
They can't pull the movie, surely.
Maybe you could make it a Batman film.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. Also, Efrain, did you mean to make a joke there where you said real quick?
No. But yeah, I'll take credit for that. So, real quick.
Yeah. But no, you're right, Efrain. He's damaged goods now, I think, isn't he? Which, to be honest, I'm not bothered about because I thought he was shocking in Justice League. But there we go. Ben.
Oh yes. Nice. So we're on a DC fix right now. Yeah, it's Scarecrow, and then I think this probably came out of left field a little bit as a choice, but I just find it so interesting how something so simple can be interpreted and changed and can look so different, with different kind of creative minds behind it, because ultimately it is literally it's just a Scarecrow, you think it'd look the same, but they've really kind of done some really interesting things with him. So of course you get that kind of classic 1941 Bob Kane, Bill Finger kind of version. So the character was inspired by Ichabod Crane from Sleepy Hollow, and the way that they write that as a kind of Scarecrow-like figure. So that's why he's got the name Jonathan Crane and the look and things. So that was World's Finest Comic issue 3, which I'm sure if you can pick up for $10-15.
Efrain's probably got a few copies.
Yeah, sure.
Efrain probably wipes his ass with them. Batman 189 probably marks that kind of Silver Age interpretation. So he did probably start to look a little bit more kind of intimidating. Kind of, it was more of a horror figure than the kind of camp Scarecrow, like figure. It was Sheldon Moldoff who did the art in that, and I think he's responsible for that kind of modern day look. Really interesting in the animated series. I like the way they kind of done him with the sunken eyes in the animated series, and the mouth almost looks like separate. So I like that. He got the Green Lantern, Lantern, Sinestro Corps look. So that was very cool. And then, of course, you get your kind of standard New 52 reinvention that everyone went through. And I think everyone went through more of a realistic look for that New 52 stuff. But this one on the far right kind of came post Future State Joker War in the Batman run. And I love this design. Again, I think it's just so interesting. They're clearly taking inspiration from the Arkham games with the kind of injections on his fingers. But I love that kind of weird gas mask and almost like a kind of Asian inspired hat headpiece.
That's what I was getting from it.
Yeah. So I'm all for that. And Jorge Jimenez is to thank for that artwork. But yeah, I love this creepy bastard.
Very good. Efrain, which of those is your favorite?
I'm just thinking, God, this is like the kind of creature that would give kids nightmares.
Yeah.
You know, I think I like the middle one. I mean, just like I was like waking up to something, seeing that, and I was like, dang, man. And he's got that hang noose on him too. I was like, whoa.
See, I like split panel here. I like the first one. I think that's the one that I draw to most. I don't like that last one at all, Ben. I don't know why. Nah. Don't get us wrong. I like the Arkham style game with the fingers and the injectors. I don't know. It's just the head just looks too. I don't know. Am I allowed to say it? It does look very Oriental in style. It looks strange. I don't know. It's not.
I think that's in intentional though.
Yeah.
I look, you know, I always admire them trying to do something different, new and different, because at the end of the day, you can just go back to I mean, there was actually a panel or a page in one of those Batman books where it does go through different news reports of the Scarecrow and literally shows his previous costumes. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see when he does eventually come back in 5, 6, 7, 10 years or whatever it may be, what new look he'll have.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Nice, easy one for me. Iron Man. And all of his hundreds of versions of costumes. So, again, just a classic kind of character. Everybody knows who he is. There's been literally hundreds of different versions of the armor there. I think every few months they kind of reinvent it, don't they, and put something different in. I've gone with the comic versions rather than the MCU movie versions. Standout ones for me, although obviously the Hulkbuster. I love the Hulkbuster armor, and also I've mentioned it before, but the AI version, which we had a few years back, where it had its own kind of intelligence and all the rest of it. I also am a bit of a sucker for the War Machine armor. I do like the original War Machine armor. Don't like it when, I don't know if you remember, but a few years later they kind of reinvented it as an alien armor of some kind. Did you see that? And it looked bizarre.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it was before that, Ben. It was War Machine, and he had kind of a weird green and silver armor thing, which was not good. The original silver and black, I think, is classic. What do you guys think? Any favorites jump out?
I've always liked that Silver Centurion. I quite like the 80s shoulder pads. Exactly the same as you, War Machine. There's just something about that look. I really love the original because it's so functional. It's so how it would be. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and the way that was interpreted, you know, on screen in the MCU was just like, I just will forever remember that scene where he comes out the cave. Absolutely superb.
Tremendous.
I do quite like the Superior Iron Man look as well. Controversial maybe, but that's very cool. And yeah, again, it's MCU, but I love Igor.
Yeah. And you can get a tremendous hot toy of that, I think, can't you?
Oh, Peter, don't. I've been wanting one of them for a while. Damn it.
Efrain, any favourites?
I had to mute myself. My dogs are barking. So
all right, no problem.
It sounded like you had about 6 deliveries then. In the space
I like the War Machine costume. So, but I'm gonna put myself on mute and let you guys continue. I'm
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
for
of
my
course, of
dogs
course.
to finish barking.
His dogs are going. I personally like the Mark 12 myself. But yeah, great choice.
Some
You've really
tremendous
gone
ones.
for the big guns, Peter. This
There's
time
no
round.
holding back here. No
Iron
holding back.
Man, Spider-Man, Batman.
Some
Good
classics.
stuff. Yeah.
Right. So next, Efrain, are you okay to talk?
Think so. So yeah, this is Daredevil's been one of my favorite characters. I've always talked about him. I just really like his costume, like from the 60s. I don't know why I've always liked that gold and red, outfit from the 60s. I wish they would have done it for more. I think they only did it like for about 6 issues of the comic book, and then they switched over. I think the first time he was all in red, I think it was like versus the Submariner, I believe. But I always like the costume. I mean, the Billy Club and just the cowl over his face, and the only one I didn't like is the one from the 90s. I just didn't like that costume.
Yeah, that's
I like
horrible.
all in red. I was like, that's like name. I go, man, what is that? And recently, I love the Elektra's costume as Daredevil. I mean, she still has her. I forgot what the knives are called, but she has that as her main weapon. But I think this is like another iconic costume. I always like the DD on his chest too. So.
It's a very simple, straightforward costume, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's unmistakable. It's a classic for a reason, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see how, because the rumor is they're going to try and interpret that yellow and red costume, how you do that without it looking ridiculous.
Right.
Because it looks ridiculous. So that'll be interesting. I think what's always kind of been kind of fascinating about the artwork of Daredevil is that he is wearing this all red costume, but they've always like layered on the shadow to the point where, like, you look at that like Frank Miller stuff in the 80s and it's like it's nearly more black than it is red. So I've always found that quite interesting visually. I love the same sort of time as the Elektra costume, Efrain, but I love his prison version of his of his look in the kind of prison jumpsuit and stuff. So yeah, it's timeless, isn't it?
It's tremendous. It's interesting. I'm just looking at the images there, and the 80s one, just thinking about what you're saying there, Ben, about the use of dark shadows and whatnot. That 80s is almost a reflection of the latest Batman poster with the kind of the black costume and the red reflected in it a little bit,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Absolutely.
I must get up with this Daredevil. I know I've talked about it before, but I need to get the get up to speed with the current run.
Chip Zdarsky's done some of the best work on it ever.
Oh, Ben.
It's my boy. Right. Quentin Quire, Omega Gang for life. Right there.
My Lord. I didn't realise you had a tattoo of it.
Did you not?
No.
Yeah. One of the first tattoos I got and instantly regretted it. No, I didn't really. So yeah. I mean, this character, I've explained why I loved him on previous streams, but so let's kind of just look at the costumes. Originally, we got this Omega Gang kind of look, which is this weird kind of like preppy kind of sweater vests, boots, and they had like whips, but yeah, they all got the like Omega tattoo sort of thing, and then obviously as he evolved, he kind of went past that terrorist phase as we all do, and Wolverine kind of put him into the school reluctantly, and he really kind of serves that like punk kid kind of role within the school, to the point where he will always have a kind of anti-establishment style quote on his t-shirt.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun picking up all the different kind of comics and seeing what was kind of written on there. So I think one of my favorite ones was Magneto was left, which is obviously a play on Magneto was right.
Right.
I think he wore a Cyclops was right one as well. If you Google Quentin Quire t-shirts, you'll see this image. And then we did get a glimpse of a future Quentin Quire as part of the Battle of the Atom series, and basically in the future he's kind of embraced his heroic side, which has always been a bit of an internal struggle for him, but he's also gained the Phoenix Force, and this was just an awesome kind of costume, like leather clad but with the Phoenix emblem. His kind of pink hair's growing out now, and yeah, really, really cool. And then
So
recently,
which one's that, Ben? Is that the Phoenix one on the
on the far left, yeah.
Yeah.
And then recently on the far right is his X-Force costume, so including psychic glasses there.
See, I really like that. I think that looks quite smart.
Oh, it's cool, yeah. But there's a whole scene when because again, this is part of his story that he's kind of trying to be a hero, and it doesn't come natural to him. And they did this whole kind of scene where he goes to visit someone that I'm going to speak about shortly. And there's various different kind of costumes he wears to varying degrees of silliness. At one point, he wears like a cable version of the costume and says too many pouches. So yeah, it's all good fun.
Tremendous. Are you familiar with this character, Efrain?
Yeah, I didn't like him at the beginning. Like Ben said, he was just like a punk kid. And after he beat the crap out of the Beast with a bat and went in Grant Morrison's run, I went, holy Jesus, man.
Hell yeah.
I like the way also Ben mentioned that kind of like Wolverine took him under his wing, made him a little bit more mature and trying to figure out, hey, what am I really going to be doing? Do I want to be a good guy or want to be a bad guy? I like the way his character is right now. So I like the way it's progressing. So the future, see what's holding. He broke up with his girlfriend, one of the Cuckoos, recently. Yeah. So that messed him up a little bit. But I'm really curious to see how this character is going to be, shown in the future.
Tremendous.
All I'm saying, Hollywood, right, is that we've seen the same mutants over and over again, like 3 times now. Give us some new mutants, and how about one of those new mutants be Quentin Quire? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew I would have to have Thor on here. I'm getting an echo.
You're as predictable as tax.
And we've obviously just recently had the Thor trailer where we see the original costume there, which is tremendous. That's one of my favorite costumes of all time. Getting lots of feedback there all of a sudden. Are you guys getting feedback?
No.
No?
I've muted, so I muted and it was still happening.
Boom. You, Efrain.
What?
So you get lots of different versions of his costume. That one on the far right is my favorite. That's from the kind of the Oklahoma phase where it was Oklahoma, wasn't it? Was he in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Yeah, where he was Earthbound. I think that mixes the classic and the modern take. I just think it looks absolutely phenomenal. Thor's had tons of different costumes over the years. I also love the Eric version of Thor at the top there. Again, very classic. Not so sure about the cosmic version, but again, it's pretty cool. Unworthy I liked, but at the end there, Thunderstrike, love that version of the costume. We're kind of seeing a version of that in the new Thor movie, I think. I wish they'd gone all out and had the blue vest underneath as well with the circles. Yeah. But yeah, Thor's just, for me, classic costume again. You always know who you're talking about. You always recognize him. I quite like this destroyer arm version of Thor when he lost his arm and all the rest of it. Yeah, just phenomenal. Any thoughts on Thor, gents?
I've got a question for you, Peter. Beard or no beard?
I like my clean shaven Thor, and I like my bearded Thunderstrike.
Okay, that's fair.
See how I kind of ducked out of that one a little bit. No, I like clean Thor. I'm not a massive fan of the kind of the fallen Thor and the unworthy and all that kind of stuff. I prefer him when he looks a bit more heroic. And like I say, the art on this, I can't remember who the artist is of this Oklahoma version. He just looks almost short and chunky. But I just love the artist. Have you read that run?
Yeah, I've read it. I think the artist's last name is Oliver, if I remember right.
Right. I think it's the second or third issue where he. So this is following on pretty much from Civil War when he's come back to Earth and realised that Iron Man and Captain America have had this big fallout and all the rest of it. And he has this tremendous battle with Iron Man. I don't know if you've read that. It's
Yes.
one of the best battles I think I've seen. And it just shows you that Thor could basically kick his.
I know. Kick his ass. He goes, Thor was like, please, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Tremendous classic costumes. Okie dokie. So Efrain. Another nice one. I think we've got two.
You picked Thor. I had to pick Captain America.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of the most iconic costumes out there. Even from the very beginning, his costume and his triangle shield. Just basically hasn't changed much throughout the years until recently when they started making the movies. They started kind of incorporating that costume from the movies into the comic books. And I especially like the when Bucky, how his persona of Captain America was, and then especially the Falcon with the wings. And I especially like Secret Empire when he was, bad Cap, so to speak, just the costume, how Hydra in the middle and just different, it kind of looked like the same costume, but just different types of the colors of it, basically, not the red, white, and blue. But that's why I picked Captain America. It's just an iconic, costume and character.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I'm with you, Efrain. I love that Hydra version of the costume, even though I hated the storyline. I do love the costume. And that Bucky version was designed by Alex Ross, I believe.
Oh.
I think that was his vision of the costume. Ben, thoughts on Captain America's costume?
Well, I can't believe you guys haven't given a shout out to the Nomad costume and how horrendous that was for everyone that saw it. It's again, it's such a iconic thing that you can interpret it in so many ways, but as long as you have that star, that red, white, and blue, you immediately know who it is. My favorite is actually, I love the Sam Wilson look, but my favorite is actually the Ultimate version in the Ultimates books, where they did the flashback of World War II, and we saw like the the Ultimates kind of version, which went on to kind of inspire the film quite heavily with the the World War II sort of helmet and stuff like that. So that's my favorite look.
So I love a classic Cap, and I do love all of the ones that we've got on screen here. I haven't got an image of it, but my particular favorite is probably the Super Patriot costume, which he wore when he was aged a while ago, and they used a version. They used a version in Captain America too. Yeah, it's the one where it's kind of the plain blue, and then it's got the.
He is a virgin.
He is a virgin. Yeah, he is a virgin. It's got the red piping down the pants on the side, and then the kind of just the white symbols and stuff. I don't think it's got the star. It's just got the Super Patriot symbol. I love that. I think that's a tremendous costume. And I haven't got the hot toy of that one, and I fancy it because
I like the Shield one as well. The Agent of Shield.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. Right. Oh, gee, Lord.
What do you mean, dear Lord? How dare you? Right. So we were doing a show on superhero costumes. So I thought, who better to pick and speak about than the man who makes said costumes? This right here is Jumbo Carnation, if you are not familiar. And Jumbo Carnation is a fabulous designer of clothes for predominantly the X-Men. He actually died in the new X-Men run, and it went on to pretty much spark that whole Omega gang thing, and Quire kind of used it as propaganda to kind of mutant revolution and all of that stuff. But he was one of the first mutants that Emma Frost demanded was resurrected when they went to Krakoa, and they resurrected him, and they really kind of he's been at the forefront of quite a few of these stories, particularly in the recent Hellfire Gala, because he made all of those kind of costumes and stuff like that. When he died, a group of kind of LGBT and drag queen community actually made in tribute the House of Carnation a thing. So yeah, I just think he's fabulous, and I've honestly been trying to think for the last 2 years how I can cosplay this man, because he just looks like me with piercings and a fur coat.
I was thinking that, I have to say.
What exactly are his powers?
I was going to ask that, Efrain.
It's got 4 arms. What do you mean? What's his powers? It's got 4 arms.
So the costume design isn't his power?
No, he's just a fabulous, costume designer.
All right.
But he's a mutant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 4 arms. What more do you want? Can't be 6.
Okay, so Efrain.
So clearly, you guys haven't got any thoughts.
Oh, he's froze.
Oh, frozen.
I don't want to hear your criticisms.
I have no knowledge of this character. I have to say, Ben, I've not read anything with him. He wasn't prominent in X of Swords, I don't believe.
He does make a cameo.
Does he? Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember. I must have skipped.
Paying attention.
No, I skipped a large part of the book.
Look, I'm here to educate, and now you, watching at home,
I mean,
you know who Jumbo Carnation is.
All I'm thinking, Ben, is this would be a tremendous cosplay for you. I wonder how many people would recognize who you're going to be.
I feel like that's one that I could only wear at a comic con.
Yeah,
like Fort Bubble or San Diego Comic Con or something.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic Con, I reckon this would go down.
Yeah, you'd fit right in, man. Nobody would even look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, tremendous. Let's move on from Jumbo, did you say?
Yeah, Jumbo Carnation.
Jumbo Carnation. Okay.
Great name.
My last one. I think it's my last one. Just because it's classic, and I just think it's a very clean and the sexy costume is from Image, and it's from Invincible. Amazing comic book series. Can't recommend it enough. The costume for me is just a classic. It didn't change much throughout can't remember how many issues the entire season was now. I think 150 or something. It didn't change much throughout the entire time, other than when it kind of got inverted a little bit with the black and blue version. But I just think it's amazing. It's very, very sleek and very clean. You guys fans of Invincible or not?
I haven't really read the book. I watched the series, the animated series. Yeah. That's where I got into it. I went, wow, it's good, So I've enjoyed this animated series, but I haven't read the book. No.
Yeah.
I dipped in and out of the books, but I'm obsessed with the series. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of the costume name.
The costume, you're not. It's a shame, because I believe some guy called Jumbo made it. But apart from that,
I'm not just saying it because of the hate for Jumbo. All right. No, I love his dad's.
The Omni-Man costume.
Yeah, the Omni-Man costume is fantastic. But I don't know, something about the arrangement, and it just feels very unoriginal.
You're wrong. Okay, so no, I hear what you're saying. I think for me, part of it is it's quite a nostalgic costume. I think it's unashamed.
Yeah, I guess that's the point, isn't it?
Superhero,
Yeah.
And I think probably my love of it is more attached to the story and the character. So it sings the character to me, So yeah, that's Invincible. Love that one. That's whack. We've gone through quite a few there, to be honest.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, chaps. That was really interesting. Some good costumes. Stick in your comments below if anybody's watching who your favorite costumed characters are, what your favorite costumes are. We've got another one of these coming up, which will be on Efrain's channel. Have we made a decision about what we're going to do?
Not yet.
Anybody got any ideas?
If you've got ideas, let us know in the chat as well. Because we're running a government here, and it's diplomatic. We want your votes. Okay. So democracy.
Anybody got any suggestions? Stick it in the comments. What top 5 you'd like what to do? Clean answers only, please. And with that, thank you very much, chaps. It's been a pleasure as always. And we'll catch you the next time round. So thanks very much, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.